Hello, welcome to Book Talk. I'm your host, Anthony Morore. At Book Talk, we get to have authors come and tell us about their books. And today, we have two people who are here because they've co authored a book. And this book is with several other authors, but we have two of them here, and they are going to tell us about the book Dare to Be Authentic. Isn't it wonderful when we have two people talk about one book? We are going to draw everything that we come from that book. Now, this is just a reminder. If you want to go and listen to this episode after we are through or watch it after we are through, you can always get it at bookplacemedia.com. And it's both on video and audio. And now, without taking one more minute, let's go and meet our authors of today. Here we go. Hi, everyone.
Good morning, or
Yeah.
whatever time it is.
Yeah, this is beautiful. On my left, we have Nicole Isla, and on my right, we have Mary Mitchel. Welcome to the show.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful thing to have both of you here on our show where we come and talk about books. And today, we are glad that we are going to discuss this book together with you. But before we get started, let's know where is Nicole right now?
I am coming to you from Wisconsin in the US, all the way from Wisconsin.
Okay. And Mary?
I'm in Southern California where it's much warmer, although it's chilly this morning for me.
Oh, beautiful. Now, these two people that are here are going to tell us exactly what's in this book. But let me introduce the book. The book is known as Dare to Be Authentic, Stepping into Your Power. Now, this book is a collaborate effort of authors telling their story of what it took for them to learn to step into their power. They have authentically and from the heart. They also tell about how stepping into their powers has enhanced their life as well as the lives of others. You will experience their joy, their heartbreak, their struggles, and their triumphs. And the purpose of this book is to encourage others to step into their power and authentic purpose so that working together, we can make this a better world. What a great intro.
Hmm.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
said that
let's
was all so good. I was just getting all wound up on it.
Oh yeah. I want to be authentic, and the listener or the person who's watching us would like to be authentic. Uh, let's first get to know how did this book come to be? Where is it coming from?
I'm
How
the mic is over to Mari because this is her beautiful
My
idea
baby.
to start.
yeah.
So this is actually the seventh book in my Dare to Be Authentic book, Dare to Be Authentic series of books. They were birthed from my radio show, Dare to Be Authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing that for, it'll be 10 years in January. And I had the inspiration to take the beautiful people who appeared on my radio show and
Mm-hmm.
collaborate with them more because it was just so many amazing people with these wonderful stories. And so the Dare to Be Authentic was born. I invited people, to join in a book. The first book was 26 authors. I didn't know what I was doing. It was way too many people. Now we're
Mm-hmm.
down to 8 to 10 authors each time. I never know if there's going to be another one, but that's where it came from. So this one in particular actually came to me in a dream that we were writing about stepping into our power. And
Mm.
so I invited people who had been on my show to join the project, and Nicole is one of them, who
Mm.
has an amazing story in there, by the way.
Oh. And what happens in the show? I mean, as what do the guests come and talk about?
They talk about being authentic, being who they are, how they found who they really were, what
Mm-hmm.
it did for their life, and then most of them have gone on to teach others or help others to just follow their authentic path. Until we are who we were meant to be, who we put on this earth to be, we're not really fulfilled and we're not living to the potential of our lives. That's what I believe. So that's what the show is about. And then the book has different subject matters. This one being stepping into your power.
Okay.
And
And I'm curious to know what were the subtitles of the previous six,
oh, let's see if I can remember them all. So the first one was just called Dare to Be Authentic,
the ones
because
you
that,
remember.
yes. And then we had Dare to Be Authentic, Learning to Love Yourself, Dare to Be Authentic, Learning to Trust Yourself, let's see if I can remember another. Let's see.
Just dare to be authentic. I mean,
They all
we are
have Dare to Be
authentic.
Authentic, and then a more focused subject matter.
Okay, now that's for the person who's watching us or listening to us to go and find out what are the other subtopics. Now we are going to focus on the one that we have right before us here. Now tell us how was the process of writing it?
That's you, Nicole.
This one, the writing stepping into your power.
Yeah, it.
Yeah.
I guess for the contribution that I made, I wanted to share my story. I'm always open about where I started. A lot of people look at you and think you start where you are, but that wasn't the case. And so I wanted to share some of the backstory, but I also wanted to uh, give simple things to implement now, like simple
Mhm.
things that you can do to implement now and in simple steps. Because a lot of times, if you're in a place in your life where maybe you feel like you have been giving away your power, you don't really know who you are, it can feel overwhelming to think, do I need to change everything? Or you've been in a situation for far too long and you don't feel your strength coming through. I have so many clients that come to me at that point. And so I just wanted to encourage, like, just start where you are and start simple and you'll build momentum. So the writing process for me at this point is just, I also like to make it a little, I don't know how to, just a little fun. Big
Mhm.
change in our life and stepping into your power. It doesn't have to be big and scary. I know a lot of people talk about just take the big leap, feel the fear and do it anyway. But you can actually just start where you are. It can actually be fun, right? You can take
Mhm.
little steps and just really be there for yourself. So the writing process for me was definitely to share where I was
Mhm.
and what I have been through, but also the beautiful, amazing things that unfolded that I wasn't even expecting. Finding my people, yeah, you find yourself, but I get questions a lot, like, how do I find people like myself?
Mhm.
Well, the best way to do that is to, be your authentic self, because that's the
Mhm.
only way to really find people that recognize you for who you really are. So the writing process was, it was a heartfelt, I just want people to feel like it's not so hard. I want it to feel approachable and I can do this and I just need to start right where I am.
Yeah. And Mary, when you are putting the book together, because I know there are many people who are listening who may be thinking of writing a book, and maybe being invited to contribute in a book that is being written. How was it working with Nicole?
It's the most amazing experience
Mm-hmm.
because I get to each of the authors in the book, I get to see their heart.
Mm-hmm.
And so as they begin to submit their stories, I read them, I edit them myself because I have to be the editor. And it touches my heart. And so I get to see all of them before anybody else does, even before
Mm-hmm.
they do, as far as the whole book. But it's the most touching experience because these people bear their souls.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who comes into my project bears their souls and gives you all of them. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful experience for me. I just love it.
Okay. And I know many people could be looking because we have those people who are thinking of writing a book and they don't know where to start. So the best way would be to join someone who is already doing it and succeeding in it in order to get started on their path. Now, Nicole, your chapter is chapter 2 in the book, and it says, How saying yes to my soul activated my core purpose. How did that happen? Dive us into what you shared there.
Most of early on, before now I have a business, I help people who are my people. So they're like me. We're both, we're sensitive. We're highly sensitive. We're super feelers, hard on our sleeves. I hear that phrase a lot. But early in my path, didn't know that was a thing. I really felt like a misfit for most of my life and told I was too sensitive by all kinds of people. It wasn't like, oh, actually, I don't even know if anyone in my family specifically said it, but it was employers, coworkers, friends through the years. Don't be so sensitive. And the more that I realized none of us are created by accident, it's not a flaw. There wasn't anything wrong with me. The more that I really explored and learned myself, there must be a reason why I feel this way, right? That this wasn't a oopsie. Okay. And the more that I started to share my story and realize this is the thing that we're taught, though, that there's certain emotions that are bad and you should be embarrassed if you have them. They're wrong. Shut them down, turn them off. And we're taught a lot of ways to do that. And none of them resonated with me. So to have anxiety for most of my life and feel that there was something wrong with me was not a quality of life that I was interested in. So that's what put me to really start exploring. And the more that I recognized my anxiety was trying to help me, why would I shut it off? Instead, I should listen to it. Yes, shift and adjust. I just learned a whole new approach, whether it was, I have had many teachers, many mentors. I invested in myself to explore different types of things. The more I explored and stepped out sharing my story, I realized there are so many people that actually feel embarrassed and ashamed for the way that their emotions show up. And the more that I shared, wait a minute, what if it's showing up on purpose for you? Like to show you something. And through that is really how my purpose evolved. It's always evolving. I'm always stepping into and saying yes to a bigger role, because if I can help someone use their emotions as a source of empowerment, not a source of shame, this is true freedom. Because we all have a full gamut of emotions, but how they show up for us is very personal. So it hurts me to think of someone going through their life feeling embarrassed and shameful and, oh, I know I should just this, or I know I'm too sensitive, and always sort of putting themselves down and saying, instead of saying, these are my emotions, so why are they showing up for me? What do I need to know here? What is this trying to tell me in my life? Is this a decision that's for my highest good? Is this going to give me and improve the quality of my life? Or am I actually holding myself back to appease other people? So the more that, and that's something I could talk on all day. I get very passionate about it. We just need to, especially, I wish we could just look out in the world the way it is and say, oh, I'm so inspired by everything. But instead, let's look out in the world and say, how can I show up first? I'll go first. And that was what I decided. I'll go first. I'll show them. It's not, you can't because you're an introvert. You can't because you're too sensitive. You're not too emotional. You're not too this or not enough of that. Let's look at your strengths. Let's have everything that you have work in your favor. And that is when my purpose just started to speak for itself. And I was given this is what I'm here for. And isn't that the best feeling in the world? We're all here on the planet for something amazing and our own personal gift to share. And so that's what I'm here to do, is to help people who are energetically sensitive, emotional, just super feelers, and to learn how to use that as their strongest asset. Because that's how we lead by example, I feel, instead of this egoic thinking, hard-nosed, you can be emotional and strong at the same time. It's amazing. So every day I get up, what needs to be said? How can I serve? What can I share? who needs empowerment. And, you know, that's just, I think for me, it's given me an amazing reason to be here.
Hmm. Yeah, so you said yes, and you keep on saying yes, just stepping there, and just being you and being your authentic self by answering yes, by stepping up, by raising your hand when there is some contribution that is needed. Now, Mary, apart from being the one who was putting the book together, was also writing. And Mary wrote chapter 7. And I'm curious to know because sometimes I'm a bit so curious. This is the seventh book in the series, and it has 7 chapters. Is
And
that?
I'm 77. That's 777, Anthony. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, and it happens that Mary's chapter is chapter 7 and is about speaking up, is stepping into your power. Tell us about speaking up.
Well, that's a big part of authenticity, at least in my path. One
Uh-huh.
of the things I did not do before I learned how to become more authentic was I did not speak up for myself.
Mm,
So I let other people tell me what to do, even if I didn't like it. I would agree to go to places, even movies that I didn't like because I didn't want to speak up. So that was a big learning for me. And it
mhm,
was not easy. It was hard. It was really hard at first. I grew up Roman Catholic. I wanted to be the good little Catholic girl. I didn't want to make waves, don't rock the boat, be nice to be nice, and everybody will like you and love you. And
mhm,
so I kept that as a sacred thing for myself, but it wasn't good for me because I couldn't truly be who I was or who I am by always agreeing to what everybody else said
mhm,
for me, about me, etc. So that was a big learning step for me to be able to speak up for myself. So in the story, there are two separate areas in work and business, how I
mhm,
learned how to speak up for myself, and also in personal and romantic relationships. And there's something I say it's stepping into your power because once you learn to speak up, you feel the power. You feel powerful. You don't feel like, like a doormat anymore, people stepping on you. You don't feel like you don't matter.
mhm,
Even if somebody doesn't agree with what you said or comes completely against you because you said this is what I want, this is what I need, it's okay because I have spoken up for myself. And there's such a power in that. It just completely changed my life. And that's why I wanted to write about that in this book.
Wow, that's beautiful. So the thing here so far is say yes and speak up. Just speak up. Show up. Say yes and speak up. Now, this book has other contributors who are not with us here, but I would like you to have an input on what they said because at least, Mary, you've gone through the stories. We will represent those authors that are not here today. And maybe Nicole has had a glance at them. I don't know. We will find out. So, if you feel to contribute, uh, what are the founding truths that Trish talks about?
That who talks about? I'm sorry.
It's Trish Bennett,
Oh,
who's
Trish.
the
Okay,
foundation.
Trish also talks about um, being able to speak up for herself, being able to stand up for herself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to give it away,
Yeah,
but she had a
don't.
really powerful experience where she was in a place that was not good for her. And she
Okay.
had the courage, I mean, the daring courage to get herself out of that situation
Mm-hmm.
uh, by learning who she was, what she wanted, and stepping into her power, really. It sounds redundant, but that's exactly what she did. Yeah. It's a
Okay.
beautiful story, very powerful story.
Oh, beautiful. And then we have others that you may not have to give them out, but I want just the listener or the viewer to have a clue of what he or she is going to find in there. So we have When the Pipe Bursts, and maybe
Oh,
we.
I love that title, and I won't give that away. The title is my favorite because in the story it involves. This is Cheryl Murphy. She's a medium, and she talks about stepping into her gifts of mediumship,
Okay.
and she's a very powerful medium and has tremendous gifting, and that's what she talks about there.
Oh, and I won't. I will leave one there, but I'll ask this because it's something that I love talking about. Taking from the title, I don't know what's in it there, but it's talk about it is what you make it.
That's Andy Otero. And you know that phrase, it is what it is. People say
Yeah.
that it is what it
Hmm.
is. I never liked that. People would say, and I'm like, I don't like that. Well, he didn't like it either. And so
Mm,
he changed it for himself to it is what you make it. And he has a whole business based on that. He is retired military, taught it to his, he was an officer, taught it to his troops that what you have in life, you can make what you want of it.
hmm.
And so that's of course powerful because you don't have to, I mean, it could be a terrible thing and you can't change it, but you can change yourself.
Yeah, it's what you make to be like. I'm seeing some comments, I think, from a bot, but they are
I
not
think so
going
too.
to. I don't know where they came
They're
from,
not
but
interested in the book.
we are
Yeah.
No,
it's not that we are going to make it a beautiful time and leave alone
Yes.
that those comments. They are
that's
somewhere
right.
on one of the YouTube channels, but anyway, never mind. We keep going. Let's come back to Nicole and your chapter. Uh, we would like to know what other thing would you like us to get from that chapter, apart from what you've already shared right now.
It's there's a lot of things too that it's I guess I think everyone's story is, but some stories are they had a very pivotal moment. So there was this big event in their life. And sometimes I've had people think, well, I haven't had like this huge epiphany. There's not really bit like, are there fireworks in the sky? And I want you to know, like, stepping into your power is a constant process. It
Mm-hmm.
is unlimited how expansive you can become. So if I look back now and where I was 20 years, 30 years, a teenager, I had little nudges, I had little inkling, and I would have mostly a question like, is this my life? Like this is how I'm going to feel in my life. Is this what
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for? And so some of the messaging, uh, not intentionally, but my mother developed schizophrenia. So growing up in that kind of home environment, my father wasn't present. He left when I was 18 months old, didn't meet him until I was 18. We all have a story. These are just, and I never share my story. Like if you're sharing your story, it's not these are just the facts of my history. They're just facts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a story anymore attached to the story. So as you're stepping into your power, you're thinking about making a change in your life. Understand that this is an ongoing process. We are a process, not an event. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like, oh, I need to change all of this in order for it to be really different. The most simple thing you can start with is I am grateful for where I'm at, but I want more. Like I want better this. I want to make an improvement here, not because this is horrible or I've made mistakes or I never. Once I released that I needed fixing or that I had not done it soon enough or that I shouldn't have stayed so long or that I should have known better. Really? Like if you go back to yourself and you say, if you would have known that there was better available for you, would you have stayed? No one ever says, well, yes, I would have stayed where it was bad. So if I look back at my life, it was
Mm-hmm.
listening to those little pieces that were nudging me to say, what if there's more? I feel like there's something else for you. Maybe this isn't the way for you. Maybe there's something different. Don't, it's along what Mari was saying too. We sometimes think, well, this is what my family does, or this is what my mother said things like, it's you and me against the world, kid. That sounds pretty scary as a kid. The world
Mm-hmm.
is against me. But at least it's just you and I against the whole big world, where I needed a belief that the world was an inviting place, that the world was welcoming, the world was my home. I joke like we all live on this home with really long hallways, but we're all connected
Mm-hmm.
because that viewpoint, you just have to start to examine, is what I was told, what I was taught, is that helping me have the quality of life that I want? Or is what is good for my inner being? That's where you want to find the harmony. And sometimes the difficult part comes in when it's someone you truly love and care about, or it's your family, or it may be a spouse. It could be a sibling, it could be a friendship. But it's first getting to your own truth. So in writing my story and sharing my chapter, I haven't had any big monumental one event in my life. It was a continuous process of listening to what felt right for me. If it felt right and it felt light, it was right. And I listened to that and then started to share. And I started to notice how much people put what feels right for them away because they're afraid someone will reject them. And what I realized was the more honest and open I was with myself, the more that I chose what felt light and right for me, the better my relationships. I actually would either eliminate and move some people out of my life that were not, I always say it's a match or it's not a match. There is no in between. So it's either a match, not a match. Like when Mari and I met, I felt like we'd known each other on that radio show. It was such a great conversation. Time flew by. Those types of quality moments you want to really like, oh, this is the good stuff. You know, you're on the path that your inner being is saying, yes, this is harmony for you. This is, and if it's not, it's, I also had to really learn that what others do really has nothing to do with me. Has nothing to do with me. What they say, how they react, how they respond. If they say, and I've been told all kinds of, you're wow, you really have lofty ideas. Wow, you're such a dreamer. And yeah. And if they're like, you're such a dreamer, you're my kind of person. Well, then I know, right? That's a match. And if not, it's just not a match. So you just have to, everyone has a different way that they evolve. And no matter what you've worked on or are working on, there'll be more. Isn't it amazing? Like there's always more available for us. That's probably the exciting part. Every day I get up and think, what could today be? What could today be? And I want to help people shift though from, what could today be? To what do I want it to be? How do I want to experience my time on the planet? Goodness, isn't our time so precious? And we don't want to give that away to things and people and activities and thoughts and beliefs that make us feel smaller, fearful. So that's kind of my journey has just been evolving. It's just thank you universe. What else, please? That's
and it's a process. And Sherry Christian agrees. Yes, always growing and expanding.
Hi, Shelley.
Yes, and I want
she is. She's all in on that.
Always growing and expanding. And at this point, I want to thank each and every person who's been watching us, who's been or who get to watch us or listen to us after we are through with this episode. We appreciate you. Today, we've been discussing the book Dare to Be Authentic by Mari Mitchel and some guest authors. And we are very glad that you shared this book with us today. We thank you and we appreciate you for your time and your everything. And I'm wondering if someone would like to connect with both of you, maybe Mari to come into your episode of Dare to Be Authentic, or Nicole to go and read your book, or maybe get connected in any other way. How can they reach you?
I'll have you go first, Mari.
Okay, so lifecoachmari.com. So lifecoachmari.com. Just click on there. All my info is in there. How to contact me. You can even schedule a phone call with me. It's the schedule there. Everything's there for you.
And Nicole?
The best place actually to connect with me would be, I have a free community. It's Energy Strategies for Sensitive Humanity Helpers on Facebook. It is the greatest energy party on the planet. Every week I have a live stream with a new topic, resources. Plus it's a great community to ask questions, get support, and collaborate energetically with people. I just had someone the other day who joined. How do I find more people who have my kind of energy? And it's important to create your own community and it's a place for you to come. And guess what? Be your true self. That is all we want. And it is all inclusive. It's an amazing space. So it's, again, energy strategies for sensitive humanity helpers. Otherwise, my website is NicoleEisler.com.
Okay, so go and follow Nicole and my life coach Mary. Is that what you said? I think so.
Yes.
Those are the websites that www.nicoleeisler.com and lifecoachmary.com. And that's just about it for today's show. But before we go, we always ask our guests to leave us with a few words that we should always remember. Mary, go first.
Be yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself.
Thank you.
I'm going to tell you, no matter what is going on around you, you can get to a place where you can live independent of other people's opinions, emotions, energy, feelings. It's very important to be there for yourself first and then step out and face your day, go into the world. But start with self. Definitely start with self.
It all starts with self. So says Mary and Nicole. So dare to be authentic. Go out there and be the best version of yourself. And say you took that from Mary and Nicole from today's episode. Once again, thank you very much. It's been such an honor to have you both here. And we also thank each and every of you, our viewers, our listeners. Remember to share this episode with all your friends. And don't forget to go and get the book. The link is in the description. Go and get it.
Thank you, Anthony.
So, yeah, once again, I've been your host, Anthony Moirore. Together with Mary and Nicole, we are saying bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.